Hey, what's up? My name is Dahoud Hidami, and I am a real estate agent, founder and principal of the Catalyst team at Compass, and welcome to a New York conversation where we talk to notable New Yorkers about their New York. Our goal is to support small businesses, so we'll be discussing them and tagging them when we repost this interview. So today, we have a special guest who's a buddy of mine, Amir Arison. You might know Amir. Amir is an actor and a director, by the way. You may know him. You'll probably really know him, most of you, from playing Aram on NBC's Blacklist. So, without ado, I'm bringing on Amir. Let's make this happen. Yo!
Hey!
Why
is my head twice the size of yours?
I have no idea. Maybe.
And
How about now?
there it is. Because you have a big head.
I do.
I have a big head. I can never find hats. Whenever
Really?
I'm on costume fittings and they're like, "What's your hat size?" I'm like, "As big as you have." I mean, what am I gonna do?
It's true. We both have big heads. I didn't even fucking look.
Such big heads,
Dude,
Anyway.
it's so good to see your face. How are you?
Yeah. Hey, man, it's so good to see you too. I'm okay, man. Can't complain. Life is crazy. I'm so grateful to be alive and see your face. And
Yeah. How
all of
is your
that.
family? How's everyone? Everyone well?
Yeah, my mom was just visiting actually. She's on the plane right now, flying home. Safe flight.
Awesome.
But they're good. My nieces are good. My sister's doing good. My dad's doing good. My dog over there is perfect.
Yeah.
Can't complain. Thanks for asking. How are you? How's your mom doing?
Oh, she's okay. She's doing all right. You know, she's doing well. Thanks for asking.
And your sister and your nephew and niece?
Yeah, everybody's doing awesome, man.
So people don't realize that we know each other's families because we've done 18,000 projects together and have met them after plays and so
I know. It's kind of awesome. I've known you for such a long time, and I really appreciate you taking the time, because I know you're super busy, to do this with me, because this all came across from this place of really wanting to give as much love to New York and small businesses as we possibly can, right? And you have all of these people on here who love and support you. It looks like from all over the world, really.
Yeah, isn't that
Awesome.
It's so fun. I love going on live and shouting out all the countries that come on. It's so like Brazil. Some of these flags you have to put the name of the country with the flag because Romania, Iran,
Peru, yeah.
Japan, Nippon Psycho, Argentina. That means Japan is great. I learned that when I was in Japan.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, man. Anyway,
so-
it's so fun.
So all of you who are watching, come visit New York, come support New York, come support small businesses. And that's what we're here to talk about today. So Amir, you and I have known each other for quite some time. And you have been, you have not only been a wonderful and amazing actor, but you're also a director. And a lot of people don't know that about you.
Thanks, man.
Here's my question to you, which is, what is your recipe for success? Because you've been able to do a little bit of both.
That's a big question. What is the meaning of life, Dawood?
I want to get in with you a little bit here, Amir. A little deep conversation.
Gosh, recipe for success. I mean, I would sort of subscribe that to anything that anyone does is just cultivate a way to remain present and stay in gratitude. And it's not easy to do. It's a work, it's a muscle, just like exercise, fitness. It is a mindfulness is something that you have to stay after.
Because I know mental awareness is something.
Mental health awareness, yeah.
Mental health awareness is something you advocate for, and how do you remind yourself to stay present when you find yourself not?
That's the answer. That's the question. That's the existential question. I do know that I'm better at it. Like, I'll give you an example. I was running out the door the other day, and I never bring food into my bedroom because I'm afraid of, creepy crawlies. And I had a cup of coffee with my sweet almond milk, like a freaking New Yorker.
Yeah.
I was like running and I had to grab something and I tripped and it spilled all over my bed. And I was like, no. And I screamed an obscenity one time. I was like, rah! And I was like, and I had to run. I didn't have time to clean it. And so I tried to pull the sheets and I couldn't do it. And there was like, my neighbor had ants and I was like, I'm going to get ants. And then I didn't allow that moment to take me more than 5 seconds because I felt myself get really mad at myself. And I said, whoa, it's a cup of coffee. It's a bed. Maybe an ant comes. No, that's not winning my day. Hey. So I like that, and I can feel, I don't know, you can feel like there's a word, someone's been using the word vibrations with me. Like, are you feeling like high vibrations? This is kind of esoteric. I'm tired. I don't know what I'm saying. Stop me if I go. No, but you can feel like, I will say this about New York, and it's tricky with New York City. I'm not going to be all like, rosy about New York City. I'm going to keep it real. Like, New York City has there's a lot of noise pollution and anxiety and intensity there that you can feel yourself. People will cut you off. They'll yell at you. They just can be dangerous, kind of uncomfortable, disrespectful vibes. People ride by on a bike. There's also the most wonderful people there in the world too. Yeah. It's like everything. But you can feel yourself start getting short-tempered and impatient, and you're sweating when you're on your way to your audition in your suit, and you can feel that. So sometimes you have to extricate yourself and allow yourself to kind of acknowledge that and take a breath, be kind to yourself, forgive yourself if you get impatient. And then just that first act of forgiveness and saying, okay, you're acknowledging that you're not at your best. And that's one way. I don't know.
That's lovely. That's exactly right. You got some Indonesian.
Oh, right on.
Russia. So talk to me also. So you're also an animal lover, and then I want to get into New York because that's very next. So, Reina, we're gonna get some Reina love.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you.
Reina usually makes it onto these lives.
Okay.
Hello, Daoud. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Does Reina have an Instagram page? We're gonna tag her.
Yes, Reina the Rescue. You knew that. That was a setup. Yeah. Reina, the reason I started, we started an Instagram page was because when you have an awesome dog, you just take pictures of it all day, and I just didn't want to flood my page. So she deserved her own page, and then we get to promote animal rescue. Her name is Reina the Rescue. Remind everybody that a lot of dogs need to be rescued.
That's right. Yep. Oh, and someone spotted me, he's the waiter guy, remember?
That's right, from my short film that Daoud came. Can I tell this real quick? Quick? So my first short film I made, it was a three-hander. It was two characters with a waiter. It was a couple on a date. And I had someone, and then I had a backup someone to play the waiter. It's a different type than Daoud, and they both kind of pulled out last minute. And I was like, I just need someone that I can trust, who I know is going to be great on set, and who is hilarious. And I was like, Daoud. And I called him. You said yes. We had no rehearsal. You showed up 20 minutes late I brought an extra white button down for you, but he crushed it. I mean, everybody. I mean, as soon as your first look on camera, everybody starts cracking up, and your performance allows people into the movie to allow them to know that they can laugh. Otherwise, it's like an insane ride. You're so funny in it.
Thank you. And for those who haven't seen it, y'all should check it out. It's really good. It's really wonderful. Amir is really wonderful in it. It shows him in a different, different color, different vibe, which is great. So tell me about your New York. New York is your place. Why, Amir?
Well, I think you got the wrong guy because I moved to Jersey. I'm done with New York. I'm out, bro. So if you want to end this live now, I get it. But I didn't want to tell you until we were on.
Oh my God.
So the reasons I like New Jersey, no. So listen, this is important. I moved out of New York in order to still love New York.
Oh, this is great. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, it's a little bit what I was saying before about like noise pollution, and I just felt like my anxiety levels kind of go up. Look, it has all the museums, the restaurant, obviously theater. Me and you both come from theater production. There is an endless amount of energy and food and bodegas that are open 24/7. You can get any food you want. I mean, that is amazing. But sometimes you need to shut that down. And my brain is so sensory stimulated, and I can get anxiety that I really needed to be somewhere where that wasn't, so that I can go access that. So I'm really close. I'm just across the water. And I go to the city now. And every time I go to the city, I'm like, oh, this is so fun, as opposed to, I'm paying so many taxes, and there's poop on the ground, and the subway's not working, and I can't hear I'm already doing my pet peeve. So I'm sorry, I'm going to be rough on New York, but I love New York, but I'm rough on it. Like a family member.
That's right. Like Jen Brandon is saying, sometimes you need quiet, and that's okay. Now, you must have a corner. What's your favorite New York corner, and why?
That's tough. I can visualize some of them, but I can't think of them. But I will say a corner that I feel like, I would say, like refreshed on is Columbus Circle.
Oh.
Because it's so open. You can see Broadway. You can see kind of like those nice apartments. You see the Time Warner Center. There's the Whole Foods. You always go grab Whole Foods, and you sit there by the fountain. There's the fountain. And then it's also like a nexus of New Yorkers and tourists and street vendors. And I always like rent a bike there, and I ride around New York City, and then you see the pigeons. And I have so many memories from Columbus Circle, and it's a great meeting point, and that's always the way you enter Central Park. So if you haven't been in New York City, Columbus Circle is a definite go-to. And
it's really great because almost all the trains end up there.
Yes.
Or very close. So it's a really great meeting point, like you say. This is an interesting question. Do you get emotionally attached to your character? We're going to do a side question. I don't know what that means exactly, emotionally attached.
I will say that when I read a script and the character does something, I'm like, oh, audience is going to be mad at him here. And I'm like, so I guess I'm disappointed as well, like an audience member of the character. I'm like, but then that kicks into another thing. Well, it's like my job is to find a human reason of why he would arrive at that decision or at that choice. And sometimes that's a great challenge. So when you might be disappointed in your character or heartbroken about something he does or something that happens, it can also be a great opportunity to dig a little deeper.
Yeah, that's really well said, Amir. So I've known you, I guess, for quite some time now, but what I don't know is, how did you end up coming to New York in the first place, and what drew you here, and from where? How did you end up here? Was it because you originally wanted to pursue theater? Because you obviously are bi-coastal and work, and you can easily just as much live in LA. So tell me about your journey here.
Yeah, so I went to Columbia University in New York City. I came from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is where I mostly grew up from ages 4 to 18. I was born in St. Louis, Missouri, fun fact. But Fort Lauderdale I consider my hometown. And my parents are still there, and my sister just moved back there with my nieces, and I still have a few best friends that are down there. And I wanted to go to like a Juilliard or an NYU or like a Carnegie Mellon. My parents were like, no. They're like, we're not paying for you to get an acting degree. You can go be an actor. We support that. You can go study it in grad school, but you need to get a well-rounded education. And or you can go to University of Florida and save us a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, so I did a college tour visit. And when I visited Columbia, I was like, oh, this is perfect. Columbia has a really great core curriculum for those who don't know, where it's almost like you have to get a liberal arts degree before you get your major. It's like your first 2.5 years of courses are filled with contemporary Western civil. You have to take a science, a humanities, art, psychology, literature, right? Yeah. You have to be well-rounded, sort of math and sciences. There's like a lot of language. You're forced to kind of, and then what was cool about it is there's like assignments, like I had to go to the Met and sort of do an art analysis on a sculpture or painting at the Met. I was required to go see a chamber orchestra. You know, it's like, it was very like, and
Wow.
I studied contemporary drama, and I went and saw Broadway plays and wrote sort of reports on them and stuff like that. So I wanted to get there because I knew it would be like, because I didn't know what else I wanted to do besides acting. And I figured, well, okay, so I'll go to Columbia, I'll get a good education, hopefully.
Yeah.
Um, and then in the meantime, at night, I'll be like a secret agent man and try to get on Broadway. And I was like, how do I like actually be an actor in New York? And so I even thought about taking a year off after high school before college just to like go act. I was so like, I gotta
Yeah.
do this thing. But then I got to Columbia and it was hard. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, and somebody gave me really good advice. Actually, Darren, his name is Darren. I'm forgetting his last name right now. He's a friend of mine, a good friend of a friend. And he was like, listen, uh, instead of trying to like go out there and get one line on a soap or a commercial or something, play great parts here. Learn who you are. It's a chance to play lead roles in Shakespeare, Chekhov, you know, and really get to know yourself while you figure out like while you're living in New York City, I can have a college experience. And it was like a great relief. And then I was just like, let me stop trying to figure out how this industry works and running around. Let me just be a college student. Let me learn something. Let me learn about who I am and learn about New York City. Also, there's campus life. Columbia was really great when I visited because, you know, NYU was awesome, but NYU, people don't know, is like piecemeal buildings all over the city spread out in different places. And Columbia actually has a central campus
Hmm.
of the few buildings up sort of north of it. But so I felt like I was getting a college experience, a New York experience, and then, but at the same time, I could go see theater. I could kind of get introduced to like what the world is like and so forth. So
Yeah.
that's how I ended up, and then I stayed.
Yeah. That's awesome. So were you in Columbia student housing,
Yeah,
or you were? And then
yeah,
what was your apartment after you graduated from Columbia? And do you remember what your first rent price was?
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I moved into a small studio in Midtown on 49th Street between 8th and 9th.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
I think I might even remember the address. It was 3 349 West 49th Street, apartment 3C. Ooh, sorry, whoever lives there now. Oh, you know what's so funny? I used to get mail there from previous tenants, and one of the previous tenants was Gretchen Mol.
Oh, the actor.
Yeah, she was in Rounders and a bunch of movies, Notorious Betty Page, and I remember thinking like, okay, Gretchen Mol lived here,
Yeah.
and she has carved a path in this industry. I'm in the right place. Like
Yeah.
I was like, but the reason I moved there,
Good,
people should
good
know, is because
vibration, like you mentioned earlier.
good vibrations, as Marky Mark says. I'm sorry for everyone. That was horrible. We just went from 94 viewers to 92 for that comment. No. So when she was so when I was there, one of the reasons I moved there was because the equity. I stayed in New York to primarily do theater. I didn't really kind of develop the idea or any experience in sort of television and film till a little bit later.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do theater as much as I could. So the Equity Building is on 46th Street, you know, in Times Square, 46th, I think around 7th. And so I wanted to find a place where I could live, where I could get up early and wait in line to sign up for auditions because I had no agent or anything. So
Oh,
what I would do is I would get up at 6 in the morning or something, go stand in line for, you know, Oklahoma or, you know, whatever play there was that I might have that might be something that's right for me, or even like an open call for casting directors or something. You go, you wait in the line, then they open it at like, I don't know, I guess 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or something. You go in and then you sign up for a time slot. And then I could go back home, grab like a breakfast sandwich and go back to bed,
hmm.
wake up at noon, then actually get myself together like actor time, and then go do a monologue sometime between whenever I had my time slot, 12, 2 or 3. So I could feel like so that I wouldn't waste time. And I also felt like near Times Square, I could like, all right, if I get an audition, I can see plays. I remember it was like a strategy of like, how can I it's such a hard industry and such a hard city when you just don't know anything. And so I was
Yeah.
like, what can I do to eliminate variables? Like, how can I be closer to auditions, closer to theater, closer to projects, all the off-Broadway theaters on Theater Row and so forth. So that was sort of some of my thinking. People don't know I was non-union at first, so you'd have to wait in that line, and you couldn't even sign up for a slot until all the union slots had been taken. And then I went on tour with Charlotte's Web, which is how I got my equity card with TheaterWorks USA. I played Templeton the Rat. That was my first equity job when I was 22. I love that role to this day. TheaterWorks USA, national tour. I'm very proud of that production. I'm still best friends with the guy who played Wilbur, Nathan Cummings. He lives in San Francisco, and he runs a community theater out there. Yeah, in Petaluma. Nathan, my one love buddy. and it was then after that I could then actually get the slots for actual equity auditions, and that's how I started getting little things here and there. I remember I got a Dorset Theater Festival, and Agatha Christie did a play. Yeah, you
were kind of right in the hub, right in the heart of New York, if you will, because you had easy access to everything. What did you pay for rent? That's what
$1,500.
Whoa, that's amazing.
20. I mean, I don't want to say how many years ago it was, though. So. It's a few years ago. It's already like 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's amazing.
$1,500. And when I went on tour, making $405 a week, or for something like that, I still was so excited because I was getting paid to act, and I was getting like pension and health. I mean, it was like the most amazing experience. It was like my job. And then what I would do is then I'd find a subletter to sublet my apartment so that I could offset it. And then another thing that people don't know is then when you come back from tour while you're looking for your next job, so you become unemployed at no fault of your own, you become eligible for unemployment. So that was how I kind of strung together a sort of an income and a life from being an actor. You do a play, maybe you get a commercial, it supplements it, one line on a soap.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of on and off unemployment a little bit, and you're just kind of piecing it together until bigger jobs start coming and it starts flowing. So I've been doing it since right when I graduated college from 22. Lived in Midtown for a long time, and yeah. Well,
as long as I've known you, Amir, you've always been very driven. And this is actually a perfect, this story kind of illustrates how driven you've always been, which is you put yourself in the heart of it, and you get up really early, and you fight the good fight, and you are present in the moment, which is kind of like, you can't teach people to be driven. They're either driven or they're not.
Or it was just anxiety of just being mad at myself for not trying my best. But yes, I would say my anxiety was actually a great driving force for what you're calling driven or determination type of thing. Yeah. And I am grateful for it in many ways. I did learn early on that, the only thing we can control is our preparation. You know what I mean? And inside of the 4 agreements, one of the 4 agreements is to, always do your best. And then you can go to sleep. If we, as we both know, if we don't get a part, that's part of this industry. If something doesn't go right, that's part of life. Things don't always go your way or how you hope. I mean, every day you could look at life that way. But if you've done your best, that's all you can do. You can go to bed proud of yourself and smile on your face, saying, "Well, that's how I would have done the part. I did my best." And
yeah.
So it's the same thing. Like I remember I was like, if this career doesn't work out, it's not going to be because I didn't give it my all. It'll be for some other reason. And ironically, when you're talking about directing, after sort of being in the business for years and wanting to kind of get on a series and kind of do more serialized television work, people might not know, getting a pilot, you have to have like the right agent or the right manager and the right casting director to know you for the right part to get seen and then get called back and then approved by a studio and then approved by a network and then go to the table read and not get replaced at the table read and then have them shoot the pilot and then have them not reshoot the pilot or reshoot you out, have the pilot get picked up. Once it's picked up, have it like do well in ratings so that it has like picked up for the back end of the season. And then if it does well enough, get renewed and hopefully you stay on the series. It's like a lot of miracles along the way. So it occurred to me as I'm getting older and older and older and getting into my 30s and so forth, I was like, once that became sort of my sort of goal, it was to kind of work in television. I was like, oh, well, this, there's a lot of things out of my control here. I'm not removing that dream. I'm not taking that away by any means, but there are other things now that I'm a little older that are interest me, and directing was one of them. So I just started directing. I was directing did some like one acts here in New York, and then when I was out in LA, I directed a one act, and it was when I just kind of released that, like, obsession is not the right word, but like hyper focus on getting a series, and just started focusing on directing and other things. All of a sudden, all this other work started opening back up. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I was directing something when I was booking a TV thing, and it was like, just when you kind of, you don't hold on too tight to things. I mean, I guess it's kind of like dating, right?
Yeah. So what you were describing your life was like when you first finished Columbia. It sounds in some people's vision like a dream scenario where you're right in the heart of it. And I want to touch on heart a little bit and talk about love. And when you first moved here, how did you fall in love with New York City? Like, was there a series of events that happened, or was there a moment that you were like?
It's a really good question. It's a really good question. I think the idea of New York was magical with Broadway, because I'd done like musicals, and my high school theater we had like 1,000-seat auditorium that I had actually been performing in since I was in lower school too. I remember like third grade, fourth. So like I was used to performing in a 1,000-seat theater, and so I felt like I was like, I do feel like I can do something there, and so I remember going on. So when we were on like a college visit, we saw some Broadway shows. I was like, I think I can do this. And then I knew there was Jane Atkinson went to my high school, and she got there's like a theater award that they give at our high school like every year, Founders Council, and like Kelsey Grammer's on it, Jane Atkinson, and different. And so I was like, they went to my high school 20 whatever year. I was like, it was like the Gretchen Mol theory. I was like, it can be done. Like how do I follow in a version of those footsteps? So, but I'll never forget this. We're on the college visit, and I remember the guy who I'm forgetting his name. Jeffrey Owens is his name. He played Elvin on the Cosby Show.
Oh, yes.
So I remember we were walking, like we were as our high school group, and he was like crossing the street, and I was like, what? There's Elvin just walking around. So I was like, there's Broadway shows. I've been on a stage that size. There's Elvin. And then he stopped and talked to us. He's like, oh yeah, where are you guys from? And I was like, oh my God. So I remember there's something going on here that doesn't happen anywhere else. And so I would say those are a couple moments. Now I do remember when I was a freshman, I was kind of like enthralled with the idea of Times Square. This is before I lived near Times Square. I was and I went with my buddy Vikram Gandhi. Actually, he's a filmmaker now. He made the Netflix movie Barry. Kumare. He's a great guy.
Oh yeah.
You know Vikram?
I know, not personally, no. But
so we were freshmen, and I was like, does anyone want to go to Times Square with me? I was just like, I want to go to Times Square. It was like midnight, 1 a.m. I was like, I just want to see the lights. It was such an 18-year-old Florida boy. So me and Vic went to Times.
You got some Fort Lauderdale love, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
954.
Also,
I see. I got to give a shout out to Miss Court C. Olivia B. MS Court C. She is such a supporter. She does so much for Blacklist. She is awesome. And I just want to say thank you, Court. I see how much you do. I still see how much you do. All right, that was that. Okay.
There was a question actually about have you started shooting season 9 of the Blacklist yet?
I had my COVID test today, and I have my fitting tomorrow, and we start shooting next week.
Awesome. You have so much fan love. I love this, still worldly. But continue with your story. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. So I went to Times Square with Vic, and it was so cool. And I remember we were walking, and it was this was, I'm going to give away my age, which is fine. I like it. I own it. It was 1997.
Okay.
And so Times Square at night was not as, Disneyfied as it is now, with chairs and people hanging out with families late at night now. It was not that.
Right.
And I remember going, and it was kind of like, oh, this is where like all the lights were there, but it was like felt like a dark movie sort of thriller noir kind of thing. And I remember we were walking around, looking around, and a guy said, "Hey man, can you got a cigarette?" And I was like, "No, I don't." And he came up like on my left, and I was like, "No, I don't." And at that same time, I saw him look across on the other side of where Vic was, and he nodded to his guy, and I was like, I was like, it felt like there was like a little code word that they said, you know, when your spine, like sort of, you get the tingles, you're like, something ain't right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it looked like they were going to like jump us. I don't know. Maybe I was just like a scared Florida boy, but I like was like, and I looked and there was another guy approaching fast, and I just grabbed Vic and we walked faster and looked back, and they were like, "Yo, what's up? What's up?" And they were saying something. I was like, okay, not going to come to Times Square at night again, you know. And then I moved there like a few years later, and like just to run around and do auditions. But like, you got to, when you get, I remember the subway being impossible to figure out when you first moved there. And now if you've lived here a while, you know kind of how to navigate it. You know, you still got to look up. And there's always a subway broken or being worked on. And then there's some sign that says, take this uptown and switch here. And that sign is like not always correct. And then they explain it over the loudspeakers and you can't understand what they're saying. We've all been stuck on the subway before.
Yes.
Not a fan.
No, but you know what? There are apps that give you live updates that warn you. Sometimes you're like, okay, well, I'm taking a cab.
What about for our parents that aren't great with the apps?
Well, then we don't take the subway with our parents. we take cars. You know.
Well, let's talk about cars.
Yes.
Traffic can be insane.
Yeah, that's why you don't take a car. You don't need a car.
I did just get a scooter for this very reason.
Oh, you did? We need to have a side conversation about the scooter because that's something that I actually want, and I want to know what to look for. But when shopping for a scooter, because that's very specific.
I've been looking for a long time. I have thoughts.
But so, because I do, a big part of the reason why we're doing this live is because we're New Yorkers and we're supporting each other. We're giving a ton of love to small businesses because so much of what the city is supporting each other and supporting these small businesses. So I want to hear small businesses that you want to give a shout out to. So when I repost this interview, we'll tag them because what I've noticed is that it really is helping drive.
It's really nice. That's really awesome, man.
Which is really great. It's something my real estate team and I have been doing for some time. So, and then we're gonna round it up. We're gonna close it out with a fun word association game where I'm just gonna throw out a couple of words and then you just tell me the first things that come to your mind. So can
I do that with you too then? After you do it with me, can I do word association with you?
No. Okay. Yeah. No one's ever asked me to do it with them before.
So a small business. So, you know, I should say, since we've been talking about New York, I actually have lived in a lot of places in New York. So I started in Midtown, but then when I bounced back and forth to LA, but I've lived in Park Slope, which I adore. I've lived in Williamsburg, which I adore. I've lived on the Upper West Side. I've lived in Hamilton Heights, Harlem. I've lived, I've stayed for periods of time in Tribeca. I stayed on Gramercy. I've sort of been all over. Most of my time in, I'm sorry, my dog's barking. She's excited. So why did I say that? Oh, so when I was in Williamsburg, which is where I lived just before I moved to New Jersey, there's a little place called, I think it's called Leila Altatieri. I'll send you the name, Daoud, exactly. Leila, it's named after his wife. Oh. It's this little Italian coffee shop that is so charming and so nice. And they make, everyone there is off the boat, Italian, speaking Italian to each other, like literally out of a movie, just like charming, amore. I mean, if you don't have money, no, it's on me, please. No, don't insult me, on me. I don't care. How are you? You know, I love the show or whatever. You know, I shouldn't be doing that Italian accent. Please forgive me, Italians. I just love you people. You guys are the best. I really do. My mom was born in Italy. I'm allowed. Aha. She was actually born in a refugee camp in Italy, but this is unrelated. I'm off topic. So Leila Al-Altaliari, I'm messing up the last name, and they have literally when you sit there and you have like coffee or something, it's kind of cramped in a way that you end up sitting in like a booth with other strangers.
Hmm.
Or there's like one middle table with stools, and so you're kind of sitting around having coffee or like a little toast with egg or a little salad, and the menu has like 6 things on it, and they're like that's all. It's just so I would go and study my lines there. I'd end up not studying my lines that much because I'd end up talking to somebody and they were always welcoming of Raina. Oh, Raina, they would offer her water, give her a little bacon or something. It's really cute. So yeah, that's the one that's the one that really comes to mind. That's the one I miss. I'll say that I really miss that place when I was in Williamsburg before. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. I want to move on to this word association game. You're getting some love from Egypt, Iraq. Youssef, what's up, man? A buddy of mine that we went to grad school together at UC San Diego. And I love this Melbourne. Actually, Amir and I.
Don't do. Wait, what was that? Melbourne? Say that again.
Melbourne.
Melbourne.
You don't pronounce the R. Amir and I actually went to Melbourne. Melbourne.
No, we didn't.
Where did we go? Where did we go?
We went to Europe. We went to England and Ireland. We went to London and Galway.
Okay. All right.
Maybe the tour continued, and that was by the way. Side note: that was a show, an off-Broadway play that me and Daoud did called Aftermath, which is still to this day my favorite theater experience I've ever had.
Yes, it was, and there were some really amazing, wonderful people. And actually,
I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to your dad.
Oh, thank you, man.
I remember meeting your parents, and your dad was so sweet, and I just want to give him a little love and shout out and one love to your dad.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. So, and Heather Randall, actually, I interviewed her a couple weeks ago.
That's right.
And she mentioned that one of her favorite experiences was Aftermath, and the people, the humans that she met doing that play, and not do it, but being a part of it. But I feel that 100%. So let's do some word association games. And we're gonna start off because you started a little bit of New York questionability. How about noise?
Oh, the word association is noise related to New York. Yeah, drilling. I couldn't sleep in my sister's apartment. The drilling was horrible. When I looked for an apartment in Jersey, I checked about sound everywhere. I was drilling, endless drilling. I was in this nice building for a while, and then someone's doing construction in their apartment, and it goes through the walls into your skull. No good.
Okay, next. Yeah, favorite pizza joint?
Coronets.
Coronet. That's excellent. Yes. Is there a big one? Because I know they're
up by Columbia. That was where we would get pizza when we'd come home at night after hanging out, running around to the bars and stuff. Like Coronets, that people don't know. It's up by Columbia, like 112th Street, 113th Street, and Broadway, and the pizza slices are bigger than your head, and we have big heads. They're big, huge pizza slices. That comes to mind. There's a lot of good pizza places, but actually, there's another one. I gotta mention this place. There's a vegan pizza place called Double Zero. I'm messing up the name. I'll send you the name. I actually went there with our buddy Cerrone once, actually. Daniel Cerrone, yeah. And they 2 zeros, 00 or something. They have a vegan pizza. I'm not vegan. It is better than any pizza of any meat lovers, vegan, vegetarian, not. It is so insanely good. I don't know how they do it. So Coronets, if you want a big slice after a night of partying, and go to that place if you want to go to a nice pizza dinner.
I love it. Speakeasy cocktail spot.
I can picture it, but I don't know the name of it.
What about a place to get a drink? If you drink.
You know, I used to like to get I don't know if it's still open. Talia, Thalia. It's right there on 8th and 50th Street. Which is a great spot after you've seen, like, if you're going to a Broadway show or something. I used to get the jumbo shrimp cocktail, and that would be a great place to meet people after a show or something. I don't know if they're still open, to be honest.
And
Last
this,
time I walked by, yeah.
yeah, and this is exactly why we're doing this. Sometimes I discover that, that they closed down, but hopefully that's not the case, which is why we're doing this. What about this? What's been your favorite New York live performance?
Ooh. Ooh.
It's a tricky one, right? It could be
I don't know
music,
why.
theater.
For some reason, Frank Langella in Frost Nixon is coming to mind. I sat in the front row, and him playing Richard Nixon was like, whoa. I also remember there's another. I remember seeing. Do you remember the interactive show? Where's the Barta? Where's the Barta? It was like an interaction throw in Union Square, where it was literally like it would rain on you, and the gymnasts were like flipping and interacting, and then they were coming up to you, and like I think I fell in love with a performer that like I was like, this is the most sensual performance I've ever. This is like affecting me, and I don't know. I'm forgetting the Puerza Barta. There was like a dance interactive performance show. Yes, remember that? It ran for years, like Stomp. It ran forever, not as long as Stomp, but
At the Daryl Roth Theater.
yes.
Yeah.
Where you did Masked.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. What about? I have two more for us. All right, and then we'll call it. Favorite place to take a tourist?
Oh. There is I forget where it is, a boat tour where you can take it around Manhattan, and they give you the
Circle.
history. It's Circle, yeah, that's great. But the boat, not the bus. The Circle Line bus thing is, yeah, that's good too. That is good too. But the boat is the best because you're on the water and you're seeing New Jersey, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Queens, and you're getting history. Every time I go, I learn something new. I want to go. I'm going to go on that again soon. It's so great.
It's such a really great way to see the city.
Yeah. You take in how big and tremendous the city, how big and small it is.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty dramatic. I love that answer because I think that would have been my answer too. I love being on the water. I love getting perspective, which is great.
Well,
yeah.
Come on, take your scooter onto the ferry and come on over to New Jersey.
No, this is not a New Jersey conversation. This is a New York conversation. Cecilia, yes, Fuerza Bruta was the show. Thank you. Yes.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Okay. Last but not least, what is your weirdest only in New York moment?
It's kind of related to the Blacklist, actually. I was walking in Central Park, and I think I was on the phone, and a woman ran up to me really fast and just hugged me and was like kissing my neck. It's like, I love your show. I love Aram. I love you so much. These are my daughters. And like, it was like, just like, it was a bit, whoa, but I could see that it was really full of love. And but I was just being like, boom. But the thing I will say about New York and meeting people who like the Blacklist, it's from all over the world. So New York is central station everyone comes and visits New York, and people from all over the world raise their kids here. I mean, if you've been to, I did a play called Queens Boulevard, which I think you know about, which is all about, which a big topic about, it is the most diverse, like, area in the world where literally every sort of ethnic background is jammed together side by side, store, residence, cuisine, language. That really, really, really makes New York exceptional. And there are areas where it's not great. People don't get along. But there are parts where, look, we could use that as a model for the world.
I love that. I love that.
Did I answer the question? That wasn't a good answer, but
Yeah, no, it
was all right.
lovely. It was perfect. I just want to give shout out to all of you, the people who are throwing you lots of love here before we go. Thank you guys for joining us. Amir, thank you for joining us and giving some New York love. And
we're done. We don't get to play word association.
We just did. You want to do it with me? Okay. All right. Fine.
Upper West Side.
Good enough to eat.
Central Park.
Central Park, funny enough, reminds me of tourists. You know why? Because I live next to Fort Tryon Park, and I know that Fort Tryon Park is like they're like New Yorkers. And not to give any, you know, I love Central Park too. But Central Park reminds me of a lot of times people, you know, it's the people who look up and not straight that reside there. And sometimes if I'm in Central Park, I want to like ride my bike around, or in my heyday run around the park kind of thing.
But Central Park, people should know, is so big and there's so many pockets. I forgot to say one of my favorite parts of there's the reservoir in sort of the northern part of Central Park. I used to jog around it, and if you jog around twice, that's like a little more than 1 mile, and it's like a dirt road. I remember jogging by Commissioner, not David Stern, the new commissioner of NBA. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Silver,
yeah.
Adam Silver. Adam Silver.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like I remember driving by, I was like, wow, New York, he's jogging, we're jogging. I was like, New York is, so that place, if you haven't been, go to that reservoir, to just walk around it. It's just so nice.
And even, yeah, Beth Gittleman, I don't know if you've met Beth. She's my business partner with the Catalyst team. And of course, oh my God, she's reminding me I got married in Central Park. In the Conservatory Gardens. Oh my God, of course.
And I wasn't invited? Why did I do this? Why did I agree to do this live?
I know, right?
I'm kidding. How is Michelle? Everybody, for those who don't know, he's got such an incredible wife. You guys are adorable.
She's awesome. She sends her love to you. Thank you for that reminder, Beth. I'm horrible at this word association.
I gotta say, I lived in Hamilton Heights, and I do love Riverside Drive, and what's that park on Riverside Drive called? West Side.
Morningside Park. Beth,
no.
help.
The Riverside Drive. There's the park. It's called Riverside Park. No, I can't believe I'm forgetting this. Anyway, that's actually one of the best parks in New York.
I told you, Beth. Riverbank.
That it begins around 72nd Street and goes all the way up to, I want to say 100 and, well, it kind of stops and starts, but there's like a stretch of park that's right along the water that's really New York, really not as overpopulated, dogs, quiet. It's really just a beautiful, beautiful walk. I really recommend it.
Riverbank State Park. It goes up to like 130.
Riverbank State Park is specifically a park that juts out that's between 135th and 155th. So that's awesome there too. That is like, there's a football field and a court you can run around and a rec center and there's restaurants. That's what I'm specifically, whatever. I'm talking about the stretch of green from 72nd up until Riverbank State Park. That was not interesting, but okay.
I love, and I'll tell you this, and we'll wrap it up, only because I will tell you that one of my favorite coffee shops in my neighborhood is called Cafe Booney. And it's a local coffee shop that's in my neighborhood, and then there's another one also in Inwood that we want to give all the love to. That's it, brother. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for giving all this New York love and support to the social and to these small businesses. Are there any? Can you tell me some the organizations that you work with mental awareness rescue?
Oh, thanks. Well, I have been working on it. We didn't get into this, but I have been working on a documentary which is in support of Angel Light Films, which makes short films with kids that have or have had a brain or spinal cord tumor. They can make a short film about anything they want. AngelLightFilms.org. I'm affiliated with Culture City, which helps kids and adults with sensory needs, gives them access. They can go to NBA games and so forth. And just all around proponent of don't be afraid to talk about mental health. And if you don't know where to start, go rescue a dog. That'll help. And I do a lot of arts access stuff, with Osh, Broadway for All, Broadway Workshop, United Arts Partnership. Anyway. But if you want to know more about Tati, the documentary, which I've been working on for quite some time, there's a website, www.tatithedocumentary.com. And we do have a GoFundMe, and we could use your help. I've been working on it for 3 years, and we do need making movies is hard, as we know. So anyone that wants to support the finishing of that or Angel Light Films is always welcome. I don't ask for money, but if you're inspired, take a look.
Amazing. And you guys, we're gonna tag all of these organizations and names, and we'll repost this interview, and then you can just simply click and get all the information you ever
Thanks,
want.
Daoud. That's nice, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Sending you all the love, man. Thank you so much for the time with us tonight. You're the man.
You're the man. Keep it real. And I'm going to take you again next season in fantasy basketball.
That's right. We'll just end this by saying Amir is in our fantasy basketball league, and it's only taken him 10 years.
No, I was going to win last season, and COVID shut us down. So there's two seasons, 9 years.
10 years to win a championship. You can't.
So for 10 years, me and Daoud have been talking smack about basketball for 10 years.
Yeah. So congratulations, P-Teners.
People don't know that his fantasy basketball name is Mojtabai, which was the name of the chain of falafel restaurants from You Don't Mess with the Zohan, which his character was involved in with John Turturro. It's the best name ever. Anyway.
Oh my God. All right.
All right, man.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Peace, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks you guys for joining. Join us here every Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, where we're going to continue our series, A New York Conversation, where we talk to our New York friends.
And New Jersey friends.
And New Jersey friends. In the meantime, for all of you who are here, come visit us. Come support the small businesses that we talked about tonight. If you are a New Yorker, support your small businesses. If you're not following our real estate page, it's Catalyst NYC. So give us a follow, and we'll see you here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, baby. All right. Good night. Bye, Amir. Thanks, man.
Pleasure, man. Thank you.